Hello and welcome to the Tempo Train for Musicians. I'm David Conway. In this seminar, we'll be looking at the metronome, the carriages of the train, picking up passengers in the form of a tally, the journey to virtuosity, target tempo of the piece, arrival at various stages of development with the piece, using the tempo train as a predicted destination timetable and ETA, estimated time of arrival for your next piece. The tempo train diagram, a record of your history with the piece. This is a method of practice that I sometimes and particularly use with semiquaver studies, of which works for me. It might not suit everyone. This method of practice I prefer to use to arrive at the various stages, target stages of development that will be discussed later in the seminar. I find that playing a piece and increasing the tempo gradually and incrementally when you have the chance allows the player to digest the music into the technique and psyche. This seminar is intended to introduce this concept or method to instrumentalist teachers and parents to encourage and capture the imagination, giving incentive and direction to aspiring musicians into using and working with the metronome. This is a metronome that I use. I've used the swing type metronomes, but this is what I prefer because you can put it on any type of surface and there's many different functions, and also it increases incrementally, like a beat per minute, whereas the traditional swing type metronome only is bound by the traditional tempos. Practicing with the metronome is important to keep you in time and to play evenly. Start at crotchet equals 30. Playing slowly at first is the quickest way to reach the designated tempo. It takes patience, but is better than practicing at full speed and overlooking technical aspects, securing the counting and dynamics, etc. Also, in the long run, it's better to develop the technical aspects of the piece in tandem with learning the music. When a phrase or the entire piece is being played at that tempo, lock the tempo played in the form of tally. Each line represents a passenger as trains pick up passengers. When the 10 passengers have been collected, you are ready to move on to the next carriage. Before you start a new piece, map out the required characters on a separate piece of paper and write the title of the piece. If the prescribed target tempo is 80 beats per minute, then draw out about 6 predicted carriages, starting from 30, 40, 50 carriages, etc., up to 80. This is a template of predicted carriages needed to arrive at crotchet equals 120, starting from 30. You may need more. As with going on a journey or traveling to an everyday destination, there's normally stopping and starting, but not for too long. Like if you're going to school, you stop for about 2 days. I mean, it's just not on. This should be a similar travel pattern with your musical practice, as if too long a break is taken, then the piece may lose momentum. With the following example, I was not practicing every day and had other tasks to do, etc., but this tempo train is an account over a 2-week duration, and the piece called Caprice by Carcassi arrived at a recording. These are various stages of development of the piece. SR, sight read, when you just sight read it. P, playable, the piece is taking shape, you played it a few times. UT, up to tempo, the piece could be played at the prescribed tempo. M, memorize, you can play it freely without the score. YT, recorded on YouTube or other platforms, or on your phone, etc. Concertized, played in front of people, possibly from memory. At the top of each carriage, number them with 1, 2, etc., with the date that the piece was first attempted and then how long it took you to arrive at the 40 carriage, etc. This is useful to mark or log a history so that you can estimate how long it will take you roughly to reach certain tempos for future pieces. So you're developing your own template, similar to the various stations that a train would arrive at that is timetabled for its predicted arrival. This is the tempo train that I marked out for this piece, the Carcassi. If you put that into your URL, then that will you arrive at that recording. So I took 2 days between the 17th and the 20th. I didn't play it. See, the passengers that have a number over it is that is when I've played it with the metronome at that speed, and I was just playing it straight through. And actually I played it 120 just to mess around. And these ones I just played it freely without the metronome. And I've written myself some notes in the carriages as well at that, when I've arrived at those types of tempos. It didn't arrive at memorization, but I recorded it on YouTube then. What information can be derived from the tempo trend? How many repetitions of the piece per day are needed to maintain your progression to the progressive tempos and maintain evenness or a good relationship with that piece? How much practice is forecasted for the next piece to be worked on? And when the ETA, estimated time of arrival of the various stages of development, are predicted to be reached. So you can say how from interception date to the memorization can be forecasted for the next piece, because the piece is still going through your psyche, etc., when you're away from your instrument. The history of the piece, a record of how long you have known the piece, where it has been performed, and after how long after starting the piece did memorization take place, or it reached its designated tempo. So you can look at it and say, well, I've performed it at this place X amount of years ago, and then you've got history with it. You're confident to pick it up and revive it. Hope you found this video interesting and you've learned something and you've got some tools to apply to your practice. Hope to see you again. Please subscribe. Bye-bye.